It's raining on Friday morning when I talk to Harold. The sky is gray. I can't shake the feeling of clamminess that follows me as I clean for the seance. Harold arrives exactly when we plan to meet, knocking assertively. That energy's gone when I open the door. I invite him in, offer him water, which is something my mother would do. He declines. Then there's a moment where I'm organizing my thoughts and he says nothing. He stares somewhere in the vicinity of my face, not my eyes. My chin maybe. He leans to one side, his shoulders slack, his knee bent, but he doesn't shift or wobble. I wonder if he would stand like this, silently waiting for me to speak, forever. He doesn't know why he's here, in my home. I told him something vague and he stands, patiently, lonely, not asking why. I mentioned Dean. Why would he just leave? Then Sylvie. They were dating. She was killed. Harold shakes his head in a way that says, a tragic loss. Did you ever see her? I ask. He hums, says he sees too many kids. One never makes an impression. He wanders to the wall of the nook, brushes his hand over it. He asks why I haven't put anything on it. No art pictures, he says. I shrug, take the opening and ask about the graffiti. What did it say? He shakes his head again, and for the first time since he's entered he seems to actually look around my apartment instead of at nothing in particular. Then he looks at me. The same thing I always find written on that wall, he says. No one sees what always looks. What? Always? Then he's antsy, pacing. He asks if there's a problem with the unit. Is the heat working? The water? Why did I need him? He's very busy. He should have listened to his sister, shouldn't have come. All we students do is play games and waste people's time. He needs to go. He slams the door behind him. And I'm alone, staring at the wall in the nook. Kristen's Cabernet comes with a tote bag full of candies and a Ouija board and 2 more bottles of Cabernet. Her boyfriend drags politely behind her. Aaron tries to engage the room with a conversation about Saturn and astrology and horrible happenings. Elena checks her phone. She's dressed as a bartender, tank top, tight jeans. Her shift starts in an hour and her ass looks great and no one knows how to hold a seance. The gathering turns into every other small college party. Drinking, chat, and opinionated debate on a dozen half-conceived topics. Aaron knows a drinking game. The boyfriend talks to Elena about the gym. He's out of his depth and doesn't seem to know it. Elena has a habit of ramping up for a shift by flirting about everything. She'll come home with a pocket full of cash. The candles are flickering by the time she leaves. Some are scented and the room smells confused. It's dark and I realize that something about the theater of summoning spirits has made my unease feel almost corny. We're just playing a game of hauntings. I put my fingers on the planchette beside Kristen's. She asks if a spirit is present. D or maybe E. It's close to yes, Kristen says, then something about the veil. What's your name? Uehieni. I feel my fingers being pulled. Aaron downs their cup of wine. Nothing is definitive until Aaron gives it a go. Kristen shakes out her wrists and exhales the way a mom flattens a duvet, retidying her world. Why are you here? Diuehi. Ashuelel. Kristen makes a tiny whine and Aaron is smirking slightly and the wall thumps. Everyone lurches. I jump. A sort of moan follows. Another thump, a kind of cooing whisper. Top, top, top. Kristen shrieks. That came from the front door, she whispers. The hallway. The boyfriend volunteers to check it out. He comes back with a pale, twisted scowl. I'm not opening the door, he says. The landlord is out there, just, staring into the peephole. Why is he here? I don't have an answer for that, and I don't want to go to the door, but then I do and I look through the peephole and see nothing, the hallway, and a dark smudge just to the left. I hold my breath and hear someone else's. Harold? Top, top? Quiet. You shouldn't have those kids over, he says. The neighbors are complaining about the noise. The rest is conspiratorial whispers and timid swigs. It's short-lived. I go back to Kristen and Elena's and Elena comes back drunk around 4 a.m. She ebbs and flows in the bed, tosses, tells me she needs to be honest with me about something. She fucked someone else after her shift. A guy. She didn't know him. I'm too tired for anything but sleep. If our relationship is wounded that night, if I am, then it's a festering open wound. It comes with flies. It comes with the reek of lavender and death and me avoiding my living room whenever I can. My mom doesn't understand. My friend is a silly infatuation, an idiot boy who didn't know what he had. Maybe she's right, but fuck, it doesn't feel that way. The flies are actual flies. They bounce around the windows, buzzing, freckling the walls. Aaron calls it an omen, talks about the devil. I'm sick of feeling haunted. By the nook and Dean's demons. By my kitchen and my bed that still remember Elena for me. I want her to yell at her and forgive her and hate her and be with her, but she stops texting when I can't bring myself to say a thing back. Then I am in the elevator on some slow day, slumping and moping after work and class, tired. An old woman gets on at the second floor. She's thin, sharp-featured, somebody's grandmother probably. At the 5th floor, the door opens and the woman says, "You caused my Harold plenty of problems, you know. He's a sensitive boy. Always has been." I'm not particularly in the mood for whatever the hell this is, but I stand against the elevator doors and let the woman talk. Harold is her younger brother, her son almost. Their father left them for a flouncy little slut, bastard. Their mother drank. Now the siblings manage the building together. Harold the handyman, Lorelai keeping the books. She introduces herself in that same accent of Harold's. Lorelai in Unit 604. It's the unit above mine. Lorelai sighs. Tells me that maybe Harold can handle problems, maybe he deserves that. He mentioned the boy, Dean, to her. Mentioned that I was curious about everything. She has photos of the graffiti, the shrine, videos from the lobby of Dean and the dead girl. She invites me up. "Do you like tea?" she asks. Her grandmother, God rest her soul, always thought that there was no bad day a cup of tea and a drop of honey couldn't fix. I want to say no, to fall into my bed and sleep. But the way Lorelai smiles, a smile that I might muster with some effort, it makes me wonder if she doesn't feel as lonely as me. Her odd brother, her bruised childhood. I agree, and then I am entering an apartment like mine, full of someone else's things like mine once was. She leads me to a dining table past piles of junk and haphazard furniture. Tall armoires and chunky fraying armchairs. Her nook is somewhere hidden behind it all, and I'm happy to slouch and pretend I don't know it's there. I stare at a painting of a man and his dog in the rain, at an odd small quilt on the wall with mad patches of lace and stripes and color. Lorelai starts a kettle in the kitchen, like my kitchen where Elena taught me to make a Sazerac and a Negroni. I settle. Then, my mind rebels spitefully. I yell to Lorelai, "Harold isn't here, is he?" "No." "Is English breakfast all right?" "Thank God, yeah. Thank you." Then I'm on my phone, looking at photos, opening a text. I type, "Hey." She responds immediately. Shuffling dots for a minute, then, "I might be a shitty person." "You're not. Or maybe just a little." "I miss you." "Yeah. Same. What are you up to?" "Don't judge, having tea with Harold, the landlord's sister." I put down my phone as Lorelai trots in and sets down my cup. I thanked her. She says she won't be a minute with the photos. Elena has texted. LOL. Golden Girls is a vibe. Okay, so don't think I'm a stalker, but I was looking at the building the other day. You were home. Your lights were on. I was thinking about you and then I noticed something. She sent a photo. Do you see it? I look at the picture, slightly grainy. It's evening. The building's siding is white stucco, 7 stories, almost Mediterranean looking. There are dozens of windows. I find mine quickly, corner unit, 5 rows up. The corner, my bedroom, curtains green against the light. My bathroom, a small window. My living room has one window with another green curtain. I see it. And between it and the bathroom, another window, dark, where the nook should be. I stand, feeling stress or dread or something unbalancing. I meander around the maze of furniture, around a lacquered dressing screen, to the space in 604 where the nook should be. There's a window, a bundle of chains rolled beneath it. Blue plastic pieces. An emergency ladder. I stumble backward into a banquette. China rattles. My limbs feel heavy. Then I don't know. I'm touching my phone, sloppy fingers. The screen is spinning. The room, my vision. Then black. Everything black. Footsteps. The subtle scent of lavender perfume. A voice in my ear. You know, my handsome Harold always said you smelled like cunt. You easy girls go after anything, don't you? Wheel. There is nothing in the middle. No dream. Noth. I awake in a hospital bed, wearing a gown, seeing Kristen's face. She tells me not to get up. I'm too woozy anyway. My mouth is dry. The story she knows came from Elena. An hour after my last text, gibberish, she went to check on me at my place. She had a key. I gave her one once. She finds a woman, tying me up with rope, on my living room floor. Elena goes feral on the woman, breaks 2 of her ribs and that bone around the eye. She calls the police afterward. Then Elena's making a statement and showing the texts and shouting about the nook. No one is listening until she takes an end table and heaves it at the wall. The police almost shoot her. And then, they see the flies crawling from the hole she made in the drywall, and they smell the lavender and smell something worse beneath it. The officer told the rest. The space behind my wall, the body, doused with perfume, tied with rope, gagged. Dean. He'd been missing for 5 months. The police had been looking for him. Because of Sylvie. But he hadn't been dead that long. The police tore down the wall, and found a rough-cut hidden corridor beside it. And in back of Dean was another body and a wall and another body and a wall like files in a filing cabinet. Then a window just below Unit 604. None of them had enough room to turn their heads. They pissed and shit between the walls. They waited, extending a hand into that corridor to tap their haunting pleas. The oldest body had been there for 15 years. All of them were missing persons. College students who up and vanished, a man, a woman, and Dean. And all of them had someone special in their lives. A woman, a man, and Sylvie. Only Sylvie was ever found. I feel sick as Kristen wrinkles her nose. For nearly 5 months, Dean had been alive, in my wall, bumping and tapping. Someone kept him there, feeding him, giving him water, hurting him. He was quiet, and then when he wasn't, when he was screaming, I ran away. I asked Kristen about Lorelai and Harold. She says Lorelai is in custody. And Harold? They're still looking for him. They think he'll be a match for the DNA they found in Sylvie. They think he and his sister worked together. My skin crawls thinking about all of it, and then I think about what might have happened. I was receding from my life, alone. People would have concocted justifications for my disappearance. She seemed sad, out of sorts, recent breakup. And another new student would have rented an apartment on the 5th floor with a slightly shallower nook. But Elena protected me. Where is she? I ask. I want to ask her so much and say nothing at all. Kristen parts her lips as if to speak, then closes them again. Her chin trembles. Elena wanted to be here when I woke. She walked to the hospital the day before. It's been a while since then. Now, there are days I can almost trick myself into believing she's somewhere good, somewhere safe. Or just somewhere someone will find her.